Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are already here, hi, you're awesome, and I appreciate you. For those of you who've decided to click this VOD or just poked in from YouTube or whatever, this is as close as you're ever going to get to a rumination on Chrono Cross. So hopefully this is worth something to someone, somewhere. So to really talk about this game, we have to talk about lore runs and where lore runs really started. They weren't even called that back then. One of you all came up with the term. I wish I wrote down whom, because I didn't, and I don't actually know who came up with the term. Wasn't me. But a lore run was there because there were plenty of games, and arguably shows as well, and movies, that didn't do an adequate job of explaining themselves. And so as a result, one of the most common requests was for people being like, hey, why does this work this way? Or where did this go this way? Or why is this like this? And this became very, very common as my channel very, very slowly started to expand in the wake of the Mass Effect 3 disaster. As a consequence of this, the first real 3 streams we ever did were a lore run of Warcraft 3, Kingdom Hearts 2, and the Final Fantasy series, because those were 3 of the most requested things for people to ask me to, hey, explain what the hell's going on and help people to understand the nature of the lore. After that, lore runs expanded, necessarily, and kind of developed into what we do now, which is a little bit more review-focused, while still trying to discuss things like behind the scenes, the story axis, and the gameplay axis. Chrono Cross is actually a weird exception to that, and I've already admitted why. It's because I hated Chrono Cross, and I kind of still do. For as well as it's reviewed, which I'd like to take professional pride in, personally, I can't stand this game. That's just my opinion, of course. Not a measure of how bad or good it is. It's just extremely not for me, right? Even if we take down all of the negatives related to certain issues or flaws or problems, which are very endemic to this era of RPGs in general and RPGs in specific, it is also worth noting that this is just a tone of coffee that's never going to be my cup of tea, if you'll forgive me for mixing the metaphors. So I never wanted to go back to Cross. I never did a rumination on Cross. I never did a review of Cross. I never did a lore run of Cross. Let me go ahead and admit that one of the burdens of doing this kind of work is that you have to get presumptive at a certain point. So let me open with a proviso that some of what I'm going to say is speculative and analytical as opposed to factual. It's also worth noting that the overwhelming majority of facts when it comes to analyzing fiction come from interviews, aka what the people say. And memories aren't perfect, people can lie, people can have an agenda. This very game actually has changed its mind on multiple aspects of its own lore multiple times over the years. As I've said before, the writers and the Ultimania actually disagree on several points, and the actual creators have disagreed on several points, depending on which point in time you ask them. Yeah, that's actually, Dakota is correct. Sometimes people don't really know how to phrase correct questions or how to just come up with good questions in general. So, proviso out of the way, what you're about to hear is the story of a game that was being made by someone who was very depressed. Now, Masato Kato, he grew up, obviously, in the golden age of Japan and was able to see it collapse around him, as so many other people of that age group and that demographic did. That had a very obvious and knock-on effect on the development of quite a few games and shows and animes and mangas that all came out around this particular era, as a lot of people were struggling with things like environmentalism, our place in nature and the amount of damage we're doing to the environment around us, that we're capable of doing to the environment around us. Things about identity, stories about trying to explore emotional connections to each other, stories about trying to find our place in the world, things like that. It was a very common thing. In fact, almost every one of the Square PS1 JRPGs follows these themes to some extent or another. So he sat down, pretty much fresh off of the work that he'd already done in Chrono Trigger and in Radical Dreamers, and was like, you know what? I really want to go ahead and write a story about that. I want to write a story about the conflict between the natural order and the artificial order. I want to write a story about human beings' place in society and all that kind of stuff. So he sat down and wrote a story we're going to call Cross. I don't know if that was what it was actually called, and we only have a few snippets from that original script. We do have a few ideas and a few tidbits of what the original idea is. So what you're about to hear is part speculative and part fact, trying to weave them together into my approximation of the original script. Okay. A young hero seeks revenge for the loss of her home and ends up going after an evil mage vizier type who has infiltrated the local king. There's an inciting incident, and that allows her to then, because of the tragedy of it, cross dimensions. That's an important thing, because a major element of the story was 2 dimensions, and how people from different dimensions could be meant for someone to the other dimension, or how people can connect despite not physically connecting. This is a very common thing in a lot of other fiction in this era. See Kingdom Hearts for another example. Excuse me. So, she goes on a quest to hunt him down as he leaves a trail of ruin in his wake, backstabbing the king and his closest confidant, all of whom end up actually joining her as she finally tracks him back to a hidden city where she finds an ancient supercomputer that has been running everything behind the scenes for centuries. However, once the party, which includes the former king and the mage, defeat the computer, it turns out the computer was the only thing that was keeping the natural order in check. Thus, the dragon god, the biological supercomputer, becomes the final boss. If this sounds familiar, I just described a fairly large portion of Chrono Cross. And you've probably heard of this kind of thing before in quite a few other things. But if you're also paying attention, I didn't mention Surge once, because Surge wasn't in the original script. I also didn't mention anything about Trigger, which had nothing to do with the original script. Now, relatively early into the story outlining phase. Pause. For those of you who've never actually worked on a large-scale project, especially a writing one, it's not like you look at a chunk of marble and then shazam, it's a finished sculpture. It doesn't work like that, right? Bits and pieces and stuff, and okay, and this goes here, and oh shoot, that part fell off. Okay, let's take this. Life is messy, right? Productions are messy. So I just wanted to stress that nothing I'm saying is intended as a derogatory. I'm just describing the process and how we got through things, because you can see bits and pieces of these various versions of the product before we actually get to the final one we've been playing over the last week. Second plot, second iteration, second script. Radical Dreamers. Now, Radical Dreamers is a fascinating thing. As I mentioned, it was a little Satellaview, I hate that word, game that was intended to be its own thing, that had nothing to do with Chrono Trigger, until they decided to change it more or less at the last minute to connect it to Chrono Trigger. Boy, it sounds familiar for some reason. As a consequence, no, seriously, if you look at Radical Dreamers, it's a fairly typical you're going to do an adventure and get some treasure from a boss who's in a dungeon kind of a thing. And at the last minute, more or less literally, oh, it turns out that's Magus, that's Shala, and this is all happening because of Lavos. Like, right in the last 5 minutes of the game. Sound familiar? So, there was a strong push to try and carry forward story ideas from Radical Dreamers forward. It didn't necessarily have to be in Cross, but most of the other games that were in development at the time, they were already too concreted. They couldn't fit Radical Dreamers into Final Fantasy VIII. They couldn't fit Radical Dreamers into Final Fantasy IX and 10, which was also in construction at this point in time. So they were like, where do we fit this? Cross just kind of became the obvious pick. We've already got this multi-dimensional thing, and having it have this vague thing is whatever. So he's like, okay, fine. It doesn't have to literally connect to Radical Dreamers, right? So let's take some of those story ideas and implant them in here. Now we have our second script. No problem. A young boy gets blown off course and accidentally interacts with an artifact which is powering the supercomputer from the first script. Okay. That artifact then bonds with him and is now part of his life. So the computer is like, oh, I must get that artifact back in order to continue to protect humanity from the natural world. So the supercomputer takes his father, who is also there with him, takes over his body, flesh puppet, and uses it to hop after him, and that becomes Lynx, the enemy that's been chasing you this whole time. Chase, 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 fight, fight, fight. And otherwise, most of the story is completely unchanged from this point onwards. The major change, so Kid and Surge chase after Lynx. They find out Lynx is just Fate. They kill him, they kill Fate, they kill the Dragon God. We're good. The major change here is there's some possibility here. Now, I'm going to admit that I wrote most of these notes before I actually finished. These are notes from several days ago, before I finished several parts of the game. And I was curious if the game was going to use any of the if the game was going to use any of the you playing as Lynx section to try and showcase the other side of the plight, the natural world perspective, the demi-humans, the dragonites, whatever. And the answer is nope. But this would have been the time to do that, and would have been a nice way to kind of make Radical Dreamers relevant. Instead, pretty far into production at this point. By this point, the scenario is scripted out. People have already been doing CGI work. A lot of the game is already coded. The engine's already done. And then they're like, let's make this a sequel to Chrono Trigger. I don't think it's out of bounds or controversial to say that this is the biggest mistake of the entire game. There's actually a lot to go into just this one bullet point here. Because, as I've mentioned before, several people, including Sakaguchi, had been actually pushing for a sequel to Chrono Trigger for years. And they had consistently been denied. Why? Because they didn't want a rival to Final Fantasy. They didn't want a rival franchise. Please think about how stupid that is. Yeah, by the way, Sakaguchi is literally still pushing for that, as recently as 2 years ago, last I checked. So, at some point pretty far into development, for reasons I've never been able to divine, for some reason, one of the suits was like, bam, let's connect this to Chrono Trigger. In a project that, I remind you, is mostly completed at this point. I say mostly completed. You know what I mean. There's... The further into a project's development you change something, the worse it's going to be. Right? That's logistics. That's just how management works. That's how time works. So that leads us to the actual game in question. So I have been asked to go ahead and list the events of this game in as much of a cohesive manner as possible. Now, I know this nice, dark, doomy music helps set the scene, but honestly, I feel like there's another song which might be a little bit more appropriate. First, let's talk about the unplanned part. So, Chrono flings the red knife into the man machine. In so doing, during this attack, during 12,000 BC in the Ocean Palace, Shala is flung into the darkness beyond time. As a result of the destabilization, what happens there? Why does this happen? Not answered. So, Lavos ends up there too after its defeat, even though there's no reason for it to be there, and also it was also destroyed. Why? Not answered. So, now that Lavos is there, Lavos wants to merge with Shala and combine their powers and use all of that additional strength to develop into an even better, more powerful life form to consume all of time and all of space and wipe out everything forever. Shala naturally agrees with this. Remember that. That's going to be important in a minute. So, meanwhile, in 3 billion BC, or something like that, a piece of Lavos called the Frozen Flame makes contact with humans and teaches them magic. Also, totally retconned to actually create humans, but let's ignore that for just a second. Now, after the events of Chrono Trigger, Balthazar is flung into the future, but it's the new future, 2380, but it's a paradise. So Balthazar, who is now in this paradisical land, he uses his knowledge and resources and magic, which gives him a huge edge over most of the other people of the era, in order to create an entire facility called Chronopolis. And he builds a mega, ultra, super duper, mega, no really computer that can almost run Crysis without mods called Fate. I don't know what the acronym stands for. I actually tried to look and I couldn't find anything. Fate is based on, also has pieces of Robo inside it, or something from Luca. They don't even agree. They don't even agree. With Fate, he starts scanning time and trying to understand more about time. As a result, he learns about Shala and the Time Devourer. So now it's time to plan. From this point until the end of Chrono Cross, everything that happens is Balthazar's plan. So, step one. They're going to do a counter-time experiment in order to try... Nope. We'll just go back to this. They're going to do a counter-time experiment, okay? And they're going to be like, oh man, it's totally like, we're just scanning time. But really, the whole point of the experiment is to force a time crash. Balthazar actually references this in the game, if you remember. He mentions how, it was a big mistake, but actually it was my greatest moment of triumph because it wasn't a mistake at all. So he deliberately engineers the time crash. The time crash awakens Lavos at the Ocean Palace all the way back in 12,000 BC, who then sucks Chronopolis from the future back into 12,000 BC. The planet, which is the capital E entity from Chrono Trigger, apparently, realizes that, oh my god, there's this huge destabilization from this foreign entity, because remember, humans are viruses. Got to keep that vibe going. So it's like, oh god, what do I do? Not answered, Blade Jamal. So what do I do? Okay, no problem. I'm going to go ahead and grab Dinopolis from 2300 AD from another dimension, pull that back, and then that's going to counterbalance things, and that will help things. So naturally, Dinopolis and Chronopolis go to war. Chronopolis wins and uses the Frozen Flame, which is a shattered piece of Lavos' shell, in order to split the Dragon God, which is the Reptite's supercomputer, the equivalent of Fate, into 6 pieces. Now, Fate wants to avoid meddling in history as much as possible to ensure that its own existence continues. So it establishes rules. It's like, okay, here's the island, here's the records of Fate. Do not interact with the mainland under these circumstances. It starts building the elements, which are artificial magic, which is another method of control. Most of the Dragonian survivors end up crossbreeding with humans and making the demi-humans, and all that stuff happens. Fast forward 13,000 years, excuse me. War! Dalton ends up in 1000 AD, takes over Poor, and uses his incredibly advanced ability to suck in order to turn Poor into a military superpower. Okay, yes, by the way, that Dalton. So, they then swoosh north, and they conquer Guardia, and they kill Chrono and Marl, who are now dead to Dalton. Alright, cool. How is any of this accomplished? Not answered. Alright, so, this is about when Surge is born. Kid is created. Okay, so, by the way, spoilers, Kid is Shala. Nothing in the game has said that so far. We are literally at the last boss. The game still has not told us who Kid is. I just want to get that across there. So, spoilers for something we technically haven't seen yet, 3 minutes before the end of the game. So anyways, Shala reached out with her position outside of time, saw Balthazar's plan, and Balthazar planned for Shala to see his plan, and planned for her to agree with him and work with him on this whole thing. No communication between the two happens, by the way. So Shala is like, yes, I will help you, Balthazar. Creates a clone of herself, why? Not answered, and then sends that clone to a specific point in history in order to be able to be in position to help Surge. This is, oh my god. Okay, so, Surge, right? So Surge, remember, Surge is kind of a leftover of the second plot, the Radical Dreamers plot, which worked for what it was. And Kid was the main character of the first plot. But both of them, you notice how both of them just kind of stopped being relevant in the third plot? Because there is no real main character of the final plot. So, Surge is wounded by a panther demon, gets ill. Oh, no. And Shala, throughout time, reaches out and hears his cries and says, no, that one child is injured. So she created the storm. She sent the ship off course, and she forced Surge to interact with the Frozen Flame, specifically to save Surge's life. Why? Not answered. And I don't want to be unkind, because obviously most people would care about the suffering of a child, but Shala can see time. Why is Surge so relevant? In fact, let me make this even worse. Please remember, this happens right after a major military conquest of a neighboring power, which caused, that's right, an orphanage to be founded by Luca. I feel like there were a lot of kids who were crying and needed help during those events, but all of them sucks to be them. They're not Surge. Pause. Can I just say that this whole sequence right here, this gargantuan plot hole, is probably the most egregious example of how Chrono Trigger was crudely bolted onto everything else. Because if you think about the first two plots, most of this just kind of lines up, right? Either Surge doesn't exist, which is fine, in which Kid is the main character and is going after the main villain because the main villain's evil, sure, whatever. Or there was a freak storm, and Surge accidentally lead into significance, which is actually kind of an interesting thing in a story where the main villain was called Fate. But no, Shala cared about Surge, and just Surge, and reached out from beyond time with Lavos' power in order to create the storm and whoosh him off to start the events of the game. This is the plot point, by this. Everything hinges on this. Okay, so we're at the point where Surge has interacted with the Frozen Flame. Fate is like, ah, crap, I don't have access to the Frozen Flame anymore. This also allows the dragons to get free, and they create Harley while they're at this point in time. So the Fate, which is a supercomputer, grabs Wazuki, that's Surge's father, and says, "You're mine now," and turns him into the embodiment of Surge's worst nightmare, because a panther demon attacked him. So that's why Lynx, that's why Wazuki, that's where the fur comes from, is because, anyways. All right, so Surge now has sole access to the program and the Frozen Flame, screwing with Fate. So, then Fate sends Lynx to kill Surge, and succeeds. Oh. Well, okay, that was easy. But then, Fate then attacks and kills, probably, Luca, burns the orphanage to the ground, Kid escapes, goes forward 5 years, and then goes back in time 10 years. Don't ask how she could do this. She is Shala. She has super time powers. She can reach out with her Omega Sense and grab the writer's hand and force him to write whatever she wants. So she goes back in time once in order to go save Surge. She saves Surge from Lynx. Cool. This one change causes a dimensional split. Why is this the change that causes a dimensional split and not anything else that's been happening? Not answered. So this leads to Another World, which is the original timeline, and Homeworld, where Surge is like, cool. So, all right, cool, we're done. Right? Wrong. Because then, in the Homeworld, the future is screwed by Lavos. Why? Not answered. Then it comes back to 1020, and Kid reaches out to Surge in the Homeworld. Lynx swatches body with Surge in order to gain access to the Frozen Flame lock, which he does immediately, and then there's literally like a dozen hours of gameplay where he's just standing around flicking paper clips into a bowl on the other side of the room, rather than going and doing the only thing he's cared about this entire game. Yeah, it's such... I hate that interview. By the way, right, thank you for reminding me, Push-Ups. There's a wonderful, wonderful interview which gives plenty of insight onto how badly written this game is. There it is in link. If I remember, I'll put a link to it in the VOD. I will try to remember to do that. So... Surge goes and gets the Dragon Tear after having been turned into Lynx, and then goes get the other Dragon Tear at the end of the thing. And these both Dragon Tears, they now have the ability to combine into the Chrono Cross. Why do you need 2 random artifacts in order to make a new random artifact? Not answered. So, you'll notice almost all of the not answers are specifically regarding the trigger affixes. You notice that, right? Okay, cool. Right, so we've got the Chrono Cross. Surge defeats Fate, which leads to the Dragon Gods remerging into the big old Dragon God machine, and then we kill that thing, and Dinopolis falls. But lo, it turns out it was the Time Devourer all along, because the entirety of Balthazar's plan is to split the dimensions, to create 2 Dragon Tears, to merge into 1 Chrono Cross, to allow you to unify the dimensions, which is never explained how that works, by the way, in order to go free Fashala, and then erase the Time Devourer from eternity forever. The end. Also, the ending is symbolic, not literal. We'll talk about that when we show it. And that is Chrono Cross. I'm gonna tell you a story. When my friend and I sat down, and this would have been about 2002, 2003, something like that. Might have been 2004. It was decently after the audit. And we finally used a game fac, and finally, beat the game and finished the game and blah, blah, blah. And saw the true ending. We were angry. Both of us. We were legitimately angry at the finale. And for those of you who know me, my memory is weird, because everything feels like just last week to me, right? Going back to when I was about say, 7 or 8. So that's right there. I've never stopped being angry at this game. It is... People like to rag on Kingdom Hearts for being, like, needlessly complex, or convoluted might be a better word. This blows that completely out of the water. This is so unnecessarily convoluted, and that's probably the worst part. None of the additional loops or twists or anything add anything to anything. And it makes sense why. Because this was an executive mandate pushed upon someone who didn't want to do it to begin with, and frankly, did the best job he could. Now, Rax asks a not stupid question. This game is intrinsically, crudely spitting upon its legacy E linked to Chrono Trigger and Radical Dreamers. The Radical Dreamers connection is actually fine, as I already mentioned. And I've said that basically means I cannot enjoy this game as well, and that's true, I can't. If this game was its own thing, would I have enjoyed the story? I've been thinking about that, and I've been very much paying attention to the game as I go, because it's really... This is a setting destruction situation. I have been paying very careful attention to, let's call it what it is, the majority of the game. The A-plot, the part of the story that was just the original story of Cross, is like 90 to 95% of what's actually in the final game. It is the overwhelming, the gargantuan bulk majority. Now, I don't want to say that I absolutely love it. I don't want to overpraise. However, what we have at the end of the day is what is functionally another decent JRPG from the PS1 era, similar to like Legend of Legaia or one of the Lunar games. It's fine. It's a perfectly enjoyable another JRPG romp on the PS1. Thumbs up, moving on. I would say it probably would end up being yellowish, although I do plan to test that in a minute. Yeah, serviceable is actually a good way to put that. So, yeah, I don't know what else to add to that. I admit I'm never going to be super into the game because, as I mentioned, it hits on several tones and themes I'm just kind of tired of, personally, right? Not that they're bad themes, it's just I've been hearing them since the 90s, and I'm sick of them. Yeah, it's plenty of other games like this. What would have probably happened... I can actually... Let me reach out across time from beyond the dimensions. Well, probably what would have happened is I probably would have played through this, once, on the PS1, and be like, oh, alright. And I probably would have never actually thought about it again. You could take that as an insult if you want. I don't mean it as one. It would have just been, oh, okay, cool. That was fun. And, like, bits and pieces of it would have stuck with me. It would have been the kind of game you could reference periodically when talking about, like, approaches to music, or, like, the element system was kind of cool, or I like how they do the stamina approach, etc., etc. Like, that would be where it is. Yeah, no, that's not bad. Something I talk about a lot when it comes... Yeah, it looks very nice. It looks really impressive for the PS1. Hell, I think it looks decent now. I think... I've said this before. For those who don't know, I have a color wheel, which is seven colors. Very, very, very carefully designed. So we've got 3 up, 3 down, and right in the middle, right? And that color wheel is supposed to be the closest thing I've ever come to an out of 10 rating system. It's there for stuff I don't really have time to do the full, really point-by-point comparison and analysis and formula, right? And so if you've been following any of my show discussions, that's how I've been reviewing individual episodes of shows. It's like, okay, this is a yellow episode or a purple episode or whatever. So it's 0 out of 7, right? And that is, again, that's actually a very specifically picked number. And it's worked very well. I'm very happy with it, yada, yada, yada. But the reason I bring all that up is right in the middle of that is yellow. Now, a lot of people think of yellow as an insult or yellow as a bad thing. But if there's something that I've become more and more aware of as I analyze more and more fiction, yellow should... Maybe should's the wrong word. Yellow's the goal. Whether it should be or not. Yellow is good. Merely good, but good. It's an enjoyable meal. It's an experience that you liked. Yeah, yellow probably should be the floor. That's actually a better way to put that. Everything after that, thumbs up. right? That would be yellow. J. Palmer, what I'm kind of talking about right now. Yellow is pretty much exactly what I would call Chrono. Just Cross, excuse me, just Cross. I still have pretty significant issues, but it still does some cool things. There's some story issues here, but there's some story cool stuff over here, and so forth and so on, right? It feels like a yellow game to me. And that's fine. In fact, that's a good thing. Because the reason yellow should be the floor is because most things are lower than that. If you look at the overall... Thank you, Arspruce. If you look at the overall aggregate of fiction, of shows and books and movies and games and comics, most stuff is below yellow. The bulk of stuff is down here, right? So yellow should be praised. Yeah, exactly. Yellow's the goal, right? But unfortunately, some asshole, and I don't know who, I really wish I know who, but you know how people are in Japan. They don't like to badmouth people behind their back. So nobody in any of the interviews, we actually got a ton of fascinating info on this game just 2 years ago with the remaster release. They did several interviews and several discussions giving more insight into the creation of Chrono Cross, which is where a decent amount of what I just shared with you comes from. But in spite of everything, despite of all of that, I still don't know who decided to graft Chrono Trigger onto this game. And that irritates me because whoever it is should be smacked. Yeah, literally, there could be litigation involved. That is entirely possible. But for now, why don't we go ahead and wrap this up? Let's see how this finale actually pulls out. So let's kill the Mass Effect music. We've got our elements set up. Let's go beat the game. So you finally made it, Serge. When did this sorry tale all begin? Was it 10 years ago when you almost drowned here? Or was it 14 years ago when you were wounded by the Panther demon that attacked you, resulting in you being carried to Chronopolis, where you came into contact with fate and the Frozen Flame? Perhaps it was 2,400 years in the future, when the time crash hurled Chronopolis back to prehistoric times. Or it could have been 12,000 BC, when an ancient magical kingdom met its end after trying to use Lavos. Each is close to being correct, and yet at the same time so far from the right answer. The true beginning was during the destruction of the ancient kingdom of Zeal. As the palace collapsed around her, Princess Shala was sucked into a dimensional vortex along with the Lavos Mammon machine. Shala and Lavos became unified into one even more powerful entity that would evolve into the Devourer of Time. Filled with the hatred and sadness of Lavos, half of Shala's mind became set on destroying all of existence. Yet at the same time, the other half of her mind desired to save the universe and be rescued herself. As Shala fell through the time gate in this condition, she heard your crying echoing through time, and that's when her story and yours began to intertwine. It is also when the past and the future began to intersect, and when the world became divided into two. Led by the pitiful crying the young Surge made as the Panther Demon's poison took hold of him, Princess Shala traveled 10,000 years in time to try and make contact with this dimension. This caused a raging magnetic storm that resulted in Fate's system malfunction, that led to Surge of the Frozen Flame. Xenogears Disc 2! Foreshadowing! Yes, Surge, the sound of your crying touched the heart of Princess Shala. Before the destructive mindset could become dominant, she cloned herself and sent the copy into this dimension. Shala left her baby daughter clone with her ancient pendant possessing magical powers. This was to safeguard her daughter clone in life and death situations. The pendant would rewind time a little, sending her daughter clone into a safer point in the immediate past. That's right, Kid is Shala's daughter clone. Hey! Spoilers! Holy scaboly! Holy exposition, Batman! You're wrong. I'm me. I ain't no Shala's daughter or clone. Yes, that's right, kid. If that's how you feel. I think Princess Shala would have wanted it that way, too. And now about Project Kid, the time control project Balthazar planned out. The whole project existed to lead you to this one special point in time. The founding of Chronopolis, the time crash, the battle between Fate and the Dragon God was all coordinated so you would get your hands on the Chrono Cross and come to this place. You think I'm joking. I've heard people say that fans are the ones who invented the idea that Balthazar was behind the entire game. Bull crap! The game just said it flat out right there! Of course, Kid was not about to know about anything. Blah. Kid was not to know anything about this whole planet until later, when it was all finished. Further in the future, Kid is meant to travel back 10 years in time from now to save Surge from drowning, and then Kid would also meant to call Surge to the other world as he spoke with Lena here on Opasa Beach. You're our last chance, our final hope. Only you, who came into contact with Shala and Kid, Shala's clone daughter, can do it. In the darkness that exists on the other side of time, Shala has been integrated with the Devourer of Time. Please, Surge, release Princess Shala from the binds of that monster and her own hatred. Show us, the life forms that exist on this planet, what our new future will be. Okay, hang on. Let's see what Chrono has to say. Where even angels lose their way. This should have been ... This... Sorry. I should have actually shown this off before I did my explanation. I apologize. I kind of screwed that order up. But in case you thought I was making any of that up, here you go. 10 years ago, you died at this very spot. There's no mistake. You drowned. Truth is, this world in which you're still alive is the irregularity. This is the false reality. 10 years ago, it was Lynx who tried to kill you at this beach. After Prometheus broke the link between Fate and Flame, Fate tried to eliminate any obstacle that stood in its way. In the meantime, the Six Dragons had set Harley forth to try and gain possession of the Flame. Harley made contact with Fate's biological incarnation, Lynx, and tricked him into temporarily joining forces. The elimination of the Prometheus circuit's lock on the frozen flame was everyone's top priority. Lynx and Harley abducted Luca, who alone could release the Prometheus lock that guarded Flame, but the whole attempt only ended in failure. Then they just waited for you to appear instead. You see, Fate calculated that you would one day cross the dimensions to try to make contact with the Flame. I don't know how to break this to you, but Lynx was actually your father, Wazuki. Oh, hey! They said it! They said it was our freaking dad! This is 5 minutes! Before the last boss! By the way, I am your father! Now, okay, I'm sorry. This is hilarious. Real quick, I would like to argue a separate negative for this. Now, hear me out for just a second. First of all, yeah, obviously the "I was your father" thing is a little cliche. I don't care. I don't care that it's a cliche. But it doesn't matter. Nothing is ever done with this. Lynx being... First of all, Lynx is not our father. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way. Whatever this game says, it's full of nonsense. Our father died and then was repurposed into a flesh puppet by Fate. Every time... This is actually made pretty clear in the game. Anytime that Lynx is talking the whole game, it's actually Fate talking to us. There is no Lynx. So the fact that we defeated the flesh puppet thing that was built out of the bones of our dad, more or less literally, who cares? Don't treat this like it's a plot reveal when it doesn't matter. Okay. We're not actually at the ending split yet, Jay Palmer. The ending split doesn't happen until during the final boss fight. I'll show you the other ending. Drawing closer to the flame caused him to become unstable, and the image of you dying in terror changed him completely. Finally, after having his psyche totally eroded, he lost his soul and was easily integrated by Fate. Fate turned Wazuki into a biological interface, modeling him after your worst fear at the time, a panther. Although Wazuki managed to escape from Chronopolis with you, he later completely succumbed to Fate. Humans are such fragile, disjointed, imperfect things. Love and hate, life and death. Perhaps even Fate itself dreamed of using the flame to someday reincarnate itself into a new species. It's quite sad, really. Like when you gaze into the flame gazes back into you. Okay. See, the problem here, you can actually see this. If you zoom the camera out, if you look at the behind the scenes, it makes perfect sense why this unnecessary thing had to be in order to actually see why... okay. Lynx looks like that because he's a lynx, because he's a cat person. That's it, right? End statement. But then someone somewhere was like, we have to explain why he looks like a cat person. And this was the answer to that question. This is one of the reasons why some people say not every question needs answering in fiction. It's because it tends to lead to dumb answers. A new species is about to be born on this planet, an alien life form even more evolved than old Lavos. At the darkness beyond time, the weakened Shala came under the influence of Lavos, and the two became one entity. It is now up to you, the one whom the frozen flame has chosen as the arbiter. You alone can decide how the new Lavos, which has encased Shala within it, will evolve from here. Your actions will determine whether in the future, all time is devoured by Lavos, sending the world into everlasting death. Balthazar foresaw this was going to happen in his world in the year 2300 AD, and he was determined to prevent it from happening, no matter what it took. The Chrono Cross. It alone can combine the sounds of the planet and the 6 types of elements produced, the melody and harmony that brim with all life forms. Use the Song of Life to heal her enmity and suffering. We entreat you. Please save Shala. Whew. Okay. Save, save, save. Final boss time. Alright. Who here wants to hear the final boss music? Now, I know I've said before, Mitsuda isn't really well known for boss music. But, I mean, come on. This is final boss music, right? Like, this is going to be it. This is going to be the big final boss fight. It's going to be great. To the darkness of time. Alright, here we go. Here we go. The final gate which leads to the darkness of time. Looks like this is finally it. Come on. Watch over us, Dario, as we engage in the battle to end all battles. There will never be a chrono break. Come on, Sarge, me mate. You don't want to keep the girl waiting any longer. She's been waiting for you, and only you. And for over 10,000 years, I might add. If the world's going to be destroyed, let it be destroyed. If history's going to be changed, let it be bloody well changed. I'll show you what Radical Dreamers really is about. Way to mangle the quote, game. If history is to change, let it be changed. If the future is to be destroyed, so be it. If my fate is to die, I must simply laugh, is the quote. And yes, I know that by heart, thank you. So there's Shala, who looks like that for some reason. So here's the final boss music. What do you think? Okay. So... I'm just making fun. I'm allowed. This game has been pissing me off all week. I'm allowed to punch back a little bit. Okay, so let's beat this boss. So, hang on. First of all, I'm actually pretty sure that model was not supposed to be Lavos, which is why it looks like that. I bring that up because, duh. But hang on, I want to mention one other thing really quick. Let's pause for a second. What the speedrun record is? 6 hours. Alright. Someone pointed out that this doesn't look like Lavos here. Let's see if I can actually show it. You can kind of see it. Can I get a better camera angle on this thing? Nope, I cannot. There it is. You can. God, it's hard to get a good camera of this stupid thing. Some people have pointed out that this thing doesn't look like Lavos at all. In fact, it looks more like Lavos' spawn. And oh my god, it was Lavos' spawn all along. No. Let's also ignore the fact that the shell was never actually Lavos. That was its shell, its container, its ship, if you will. So, I'm pretty sure, because of how this kind of thing works, because of how production cycles work, that this was probably something else entirely that they repurposed into being Lavos, into being the Time Devourer. Maybe it was what the Dragon God really looked like. Maybe it was one of the other dragon bosses. Maybe it was a super optional boss. Maybe it was just something that someone in the office was working on. That happens a lot. I've talked about that. I can imagine it, Ross. A lot. I've talked about this before in this very game, in Breath of Fire 3, in Final Fantasy VIII. It's an extremely common thing where the art team will just kind of throw together something, like just an image or a design, and say, this is cool, and then they just kind of shove it in, and that becomes a boss, right? That is extremely normal. There's nothing wrong with that. Thank you for the sub, Ross, as always. If you want to put that towards anything, please let me know. All right. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cheat. Now, hang on. Because I just want to show something else. We're going to put one last save state. I keep saving just in case. And I don't know if this cheat will even work. But if this cheat works, then I could show you the bad ending. There it is. Yep, that worked. Cool. So we defeated Lavos. We've killed it. Sentinels, Yaku's like a dragon, and Exposition 33. Done. We did it. Lavos is destroyed forever. And Shala. Anyways, that's it. Yeah, roll credits. And yeah, this is just shots from the rest of the game. If I fast forward this, you'll see what I mean. And they're singing. Don't worry, you'll actually have a chance to hear this again. But let me just... This is the default ending, bad ending. I'm not sure what to call this. The ending that probably shouldn't even be in the game is really what I would call this. The end. Okay, so, rewind. Okay. Wish me luck. This can screw up multiple different ways. There's some RNG associated with this. So, first thing we're going to do is we need to get everyone's elements pretty much up to 7. So, let's just focus on hitting to get everyone's elements up to 7. Okay, he's starting with green. That's not actually good. But that's okay. That's okay. We can make this work. Okay, and 7. Okay, Surge is at 7. Let's get Karsh up to 7. Karsh is up to 6. Karsh, you continue to fail me. Kid should have a higher chance of making this because she has decent thing. Also, Kid killing her own mother clone here. Another green. That's okay. Sure. And 7. Okay. So, first step done. Alright. Switch over to Karsh. Let's use a yellow. Okay. That's a good question, Mr. Red. Let's go ahead and defend. No, hang on. Do I have that on her? I do, actually. Let's go ahead and use her level 2 yellow. Okay, now we're going to defend. We need him to use yellow. Okay, that's blue, so that sucks. Okay, so, alright. I might already have to reload it. What happens if I run? I'm just curious. So I'm pretty sure I get another shot at this, like if this was a normal game. Yep, nope, it just puts us back. Okay, so anyway, so we restart. Alright. Okay, do I have Purify on you? This is really bad RNG here. Do you have Purify? Well, let's take a time to get Karsh's element grid back up, because yeah, I need it to be higher than that. let's just defend. Let's get yours a little bit higher. We actually don't want to kill him. Because if we do, we get that other ending, which we've already shown off. Please don't tell me I put... Oh, God, please don't tell me it's just on her. Okay, well, let's defend. Okay, he's doing green. That's not great. I need Lavos to use a yellow spell. I don't need, but it would be very helpful if Lavos was going to use a yellow spell. I also kind of need Kid to stop being frozen, so we're just going to defend for a second. Oh god, I have to equip the Chrono Cross in the elements? Oh, I completely spaced that. Alright, hang on. Let's just reset. Let's just reset. Thank you, Jersey Knights. Oh, this freaking fight. Sorry, I was thinking FF4 rules. There it is. Pink. There we go. Okay. Whoops. I believe this would be what we in the business call take two. Do I have more purifies? I should, but I don't see any. Yeah, I don't. Alright, whatever. Oh, I'm sorted wrong. There we go. Still don't have any purifies. Does it get rid of status effects? Does. Let's put that on you. And while we're here, let's just make sure that we can, you know, get a little bit of this going on here. Don't need any of this anymore. We've already fought the functional last boss. Hello, cat. Hello. How are you? Okay. So, take two. Money was weird because it was mostly taken up by crafting. Really nice. Like, what I mean is the crafting was really nice. Almost every crafted piece of gear in the game is a noticeable increase in power output. Okay, so, same exact thing we just did. Don't miss this time, Karsh. Okay, could you do that for me? There was no fast travel. Traversal was slow. Green? Oh, I need yellow. Miss, don't miss. Thank you. We're already doing better than last time. Okay, 3 7s. Let's grab a save, so we can just skip that step. And we're just gonna chill for a minute until he does something. Okay, he's doing more green. Double green. Yep, that's... really greening it up. Super green, super green. Let's try... FF1 and 2, Rex. Sorry, I'm debating something. We probably should heal. Let's go and get a heal. Yeah, I might as well get a Tade. Why not? That's the order of the spells that have been used, Walker. We need that to be in a specific order. Yeah, what's funny is I could see a silent last boss working. I've actually talked about that in the last exact concept because I've played Earthbound. It's not a terrible idea, but it probably needs to be done deliberately and purposefully, and this almost assuredly was not. Still doing green. Okay. Why don't we heal you? They ran out of budget for the composer. I mean, Mitsuda was really overworked at this point in his life. No joke. Pretty much the exact same thing Uematsu was just recovering from at about this point. That's true, FF7, technically, has a silent last boss. Yeah, the way I described it when I was talking about Earthbound is you want there to be you want the pacing, you want the tempo of the final dungeon, of the final boss, to be good, right? To be awesome and to be amazing. But that can be up or down in terms of intensity. That's why I use Earthbound as the example. The final dungeon of Earthbound sounds a lot like this song right here. The final boss fight sounds like weird, warped, distorted eldritch horror. Which makes sense, considering what you're fighting in Earthbound, right? It doesn't have to be ba 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 ba. It can be. That can work. But I'm pretty sure Breakfast Sampler is absolutely right. I think that Mitsuda was long past this project by the time this battle even existed. And then they're like, oh, I'm not even sure. What would he be working on at this point in time, historically? Like I said, I know he was having some burnout. Dude actually ended up going to the hospital. Although that was before this, obviously. So let's just defend for now. Hang on, let's pop another save here. Could you stop doing green, please? You know what? Fine. Listen, I don't know what's going on with Hydro right now, but we're cool. Wait, was Mitsuda working on Mega Man Legend 2? That actually would make sense. Or yeah, Bomberman 64 too, which actually has a hell of a soundtrack, that's worth noting. This guy needs to, like, stop casting green spells. TOS music. Stop casting green, you asshole! Alright, hang on. If he's gonna keep doing green, let's do something here for a sec. Let's try to plan around this. Hope we can do this before, you know, we die. And we're dead. Damn it. Okay, let's assume we reset. Let's just reset. So we run, we come back, we set up our things. Okay, we're here again. If it's green, let's see if we can just seed that. So let's do yellow. Alright, now we want... what's after yellow? Red. Now, this is his chance to do green. And then he does yellow! And then he does yellow. You asshole! Okay, whatever. You know what? I can swing with that. I can swing with that. Fine. Fine. So, he did yellow, so let's do red. Okay, then green. And then blue. Now, here's the problem. He can really screw me over here with what he does next. Which he did! Of course he did. Of course he screwed me over completely. So now I gotta start over. This is what I meant when I said the last boss could just RNG you to death. This is immeasurably frustrating. Okay. I could rewind one move. Let's see it. So where is this? This is yellow. So we're gonna do red. Yeah, by the way, imagine doing this without a walkthrough. I need him to either cast on sequence or not cast at all. Both of those would be acceptable. Okay, so red. Now we need green. What I need is for the correct spells to be in the correct order at the top of the screen. That's really the goal here. Okay, so it's green. Next is blue. Yeah, GameFAQs was such a godsend back in the mid-aughts, early aughts. That's why I call it the GameFAQs era. This was a sea change for playing video games. He does white. He did white again. So, it was a different spell, but it was still white. Okay, so let's just defend? Yeah, let's just see what he does. Green. Of course he does green. Why wouldn't he do green? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. You're doing green. Okay, so let's do yellow. And red. Just need to live long enough to get all this off. He might also kill me, which would really screw with me, but whatever. Don't worry, this isn't FF8 where she could just like permanently destroy my party members. Or I guess 5 played with that too. You know what? Hang on, I don't know. Let's see if heal even counts. Let's try to heal and see if that counts as a spell for this. It does! Hey, cool. Okay, so now blue. You are not the only person to tell me that, Mr. Red. Okay, and it is white. God damn it! Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to basically soft reset here. Try and reseed our RNG a little bit. Get our spell levels back up. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to heal, because that hurt. In the final boss, Czar. Okay, so... we do have limited heals, yes. It is possible to run out. It also kind of gets in the way of everything else, because a heal takes up, like as you can see, I've got 2 white up there because I healed. So... Alright, so then I want you to generate your spell slots. Green. Of course he defaults back to green. Asshole. Could you have done yellow? That would have really helped out. Yeah, it's banishment mechanics. That's exactly what it is. Okay, so let's do a secondary save. Not that I'm aware of, Saber for Wife. We are pretty much stuck here. We have to get the good RNG. Okay, he did green again! Green! Okay, this is wonderful. This is so great. It doesn't matter how much health the boss has. Although I don't actually know the answer to that question off the top of my head. You can kill it. Okay. Green! Please, for the love of God, stop casting green. Surge is dead. Okay, that sucks. That, do I not have live? Seriously? So anyways, someone remember the number 30, by the way. We're up to 30. Green is not the first color in the sequence. It is yellow is the first color in the sequence. Okay. Let's just see what happens. Let's do this. Use that on Kid. Oh, this is bad. I've been dreading this entire run. No joke. The moment I figured out I had cheats, I'm like, oh, thank God. Except for this. There's no cheating this. There's no bypassing this. Yeah, the problem, and I can actually describe the problem. This fight would actually be kind of interesting if it was just the colors. And as in, get one of each, then do cross. But it's not get one of each. It's get one each in order. And that is the problem. Oh, and by the way, one of the suggested things I mentioned that could improve the gameplay of this game is to make it so that the enemies can't affect the field. Do you remember that suggestion? This would still be a little walkthrough-y, but at the very least, because of the fact that the notes play, because of the fact that the colors show up at the top, if the field was, if it was totally under your control, in other words, if only you could affect the spells at the top, you could then divine and try to figure out the color order, because there are hints about it. And this would be a much less frustrating fight. Alright, what do you got? Blue. Okay. Sure, whatever. Let's just do this and pray for good RNG. It wasn't green. Anything other than yellow doesn't really matter. Okay, right. Yellow, red. Gotta remember my own order here. And yeah, maybe the boss does certain attacks in order, and then you have to match them, or... There's plenty of ways they could have made this work without this RNG nonsense. Green, green. Man, ain't that a good thing, Crazy Horse? And then... blue. This is the biggie. This is where he keeps screwing me over. I'm gonna do blue. And if he does black, we're good. Or nothing. Him doing nothing is also acceptable. Oh my god, I think we're there. Okay. No. Okay. No! 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 Ah! Let me explain why that happened. I put this is actually my fault, although I didn't know this. I put Chrono Cross, the ability, on the 8th spell. Surge had 7. Couldn't use Chrono Cross when it was time to use Chrono Cross. That was it. That was the finish line. But I didn't have the element to cast it, because I put it on 8. So I had to attack with him to get an elemental level up, at which point Lavos did something which totally screwed the order up. I hate this fucking boss. 40, by the way. Air. I am never going to touch this game again after this. I actually don't know, Saber for Life. Wow, that is such an amazingly in-depth explanation of what to do, Chocolate Rob. This is so easy. All you have to do is pull Chrono Cross to level 1, which I just did. Attack until everyone's grid is charged up. Defend until it attacks. Use the elements in correct order, and then you win! You're done! That's so easy! That's only the exact thing I've done every single attempt so far. Oh, okay. I mean, this was probably so... I know, right, Chocolate Rob? This is so far into development. We know how late Trigger, in general, was affixed to the game. Honestly, speaking sincerely for a moment, it's possible this was put together in a week. And if you know anything about game development, you know how, like, very little a time that is to throw together an entire boss fight. You know, plus visuals, plus sound effects, plus stats, etc. Honestly, weak might be highballing it. Yeah, it's entirely possible this fight was quite literally not tested. And if that sounds awful, remember, that's actually not uncommon for entire swaths of a game to not be tested. Yeah, Earthbound 0 is a perfect example of that, or Mother 1 if you prefer. Molten Core over in World of Warcraft. Yeah, Ratchet and Clank 2 had several elements of that. It's distressingly normal for there to be no QA testing. Onyxia's Lair was tested because that was based off of the old concept of the dragon fights from several of the devs who were old EverQuest raiders and players. And dragons were like all of the raids back in EverQuest, so Onyxia was actually kind of a homage to EverQuest. He starts with green! Of course he starts with green! Of course he does. Okay, whatever. So let's pop a save. Actually, yeah, it's another good example off the deeper end. And yeah, Breakfast Sampler's right, really. Chrono is in the name, which made the game move units. Oh man, Mega Man X6 is a perfect example of a game that didn't have QA testing. Mega Man X7, by the way, while we're on the subject. Oh man. That's a weird thought to think about, in hindsight. Like, maybe the executives had no faith in Cross. And so we're like, you know what? Let's affix Chrono to the front of it. That way it'll sell. And that's so funny in hindsight, right? Like, if you think about it, if you think about where Square went after that as a company. I did not mean to do that. I think I just screwed myself over. I actually lost where I was in the sequence. Of course. So hang on, so, 50. Okay. So. Oh, now you use yellow. You know what? I'll take it, honestly. No, I'm counting how many negatives I'm going to give the game. It's a joke. I'm not actually doing that. Okay, so red. Green. That's a good question, Saber from Life. I mean, yeah, maybe we're supposed to whittle him down, but we don't... See, here's the thing. We don't want to kill him, and the spells we're doing do damage. So that's arguably worse if that's the intended solution. One of the reasons we're using such low-level spells is because we specifically do not want to do damage to him. I don't even know what his health is. Okay, so yellow, sure, whatever. Okay. And no, there's no real upper cap on negatives. I mean, there's like a hypothetical cap, but... Come on. What's funny is I thought the Dragon God was a perfectly good last boss. Okay. Okay, hold up, hold up, hold up. Okay. We have here, we have full stamina, and we have full elements. What am I up to? Oh god. Green. Okay, we just did green. No, actually, Ross. I'm not sure where it plays. That was miserable. Yeah, time, by the way. I also think the musical motif would work better if it was more of a recurring theme throughout the work. I mean, there are several games where music is like a thing throughout the whole game, right? And then becomes significant later. So thematically, the idea here is we defeated Lavos with love rather than hate. And that spreads throughout all of time and all dimensions. Because it was connected to all of time. I actually kind of like that idea, honestly. There's something appropriate about that. It is very Japanese, but I'm kind of with it. I wish it did more with the idea, since that has nothing to do with what we're here to do. We're here to stop Lavos from destroying all of reality. Instead, we end up, like, spreading love throughout time, which is really cool. Yeah, you'll notice, anybody familiar with FF14, that may sound like a familiar plot beat. I have been waiting an eternity just for this very moment. Meaninglessly hurting one another, the disappearing life forms, the words that become deleted, the thoughts that become buried, the pool of cells that slowly evaporate, the echoes of consciousness that slowly fade. Love to hate and hate to love. Why are we born and why do we die? Evolution? Survival of the fittest? What is there to be achieved from harming one another, killing one another? The eggs that we call planets and the innumerable spermatozoa which gather around these that we call life forms. When one of those countless seeds inseminates a planet, a new universe is born. But until that occurs, hundreds of millions of years will pass, and innumerable life forms will be born and die. This is the be-all and end-all. Everything exists for that one moment. Also that the universe can evolve into the next dimension. Does that make each of us just pawns? Are each of our short lives nothing but a cheap sacrifice? Just so the one chosen life form can be born? No, that's not the case. Each and every one of us has a chance of becoming that chosen life form, which inseminates a planet. Yes, it could be you. Deliberate fourth wall break. Genes and environment. Each of us tries to do his best under the limited conditions we are each dealt. Each life form that attempts to eke out a decent life for itself forms a link in the golden chain that leads to the creation of a new universe. If one link is missing, there will be no future. There's no such thing as a useless life form, no such thing as a pawn. Every single thing in the whole of nature is perhaps just dreaming a dream of life. All of them are also perhaps nothing more than a dream dreamt by the planet before it is born. Oh, but yes, eventually all dreams return to Zervan, to the Sea of Dreams. Surge. Don't go yet, Surge. It's alright. Everything is alright now. Time, which has been divided, will be unified again now. The time for farewells has come. You will lose all memory of this whole adventure. Why? Not explained. And return to your own time, but this time you'll be able to live your own life. We sure went through a lot together, didn't we? It was fun. I may never see you again, but take care, Junior. I mean, Surge. We alone do not have the power to heal the world's woes or to solve its mysteries, and yet even then... It was bloody good knowing you, mate. Thanks for being born, you, Surge. I guess now's the time for me to say see you later, mate, but I'll find you. Sometime, somewhere. I'm bloody sure of it. No matter the time period, no matter the world you live in, I'll find you. I'm sure I will find you. And then the two dimensions merge. Not explained what that means or how that actually happens. Don't question it. Don't question it. And... Surge. Surge. Hey, Surge. Oh, yeah, it's her girlfriend. Are you alright? What's the matter? Don't scare me like that. You just passed out all of a sudden. What's that? The entire game didn't happen? What are you talking about? We just got here. You got some Komodo dragon skills for me, don't you remember? You sound confused. Come on. Get with the program. Our summer's just started. Thus, the curtain closes on another tale. An eternity has passed. Yeah, you're telling me. Fleeting dreams fade into the distance. All that is left now is me and my memories. But I'm sure we'll meet again. Someday, you and I, another place, another time. It's just that we might not realize that you are you and I am me. Let us open the door to the great unknown, cross another reality, and live another today. Even when the story has been told, life goes on until we meet again. Take care of yourself, my friend. Forever yours, Shala. And there's the wedding picture of Surge and Kid. Ditto. Love Balthazar. Wait a minute, Balthazar was behind everything all along! J'accuse! Okay, so then we play this ending. I'm gonna let it actually play this time. I'm gonna get copywrong to hell and back for this, but whatever. Oh, oh God. It was draining. That game was very draining. Yep, kid secretly murdered. Yeah, tomorrow we're starting Xenogears. I hope that's better. I don't know. I've got no expectation at this point. Who knows? Yeah, I'm kind of doing the audit right now. I don't know if I said kind of. I am doing the audit right now. I feel drained. I wasn't actually joking. Several of my friends had to be like, alright, look. Because I would end a lot of days this week with just oh. Sure, Kenexco, what do you got? See, here's the interesting thing. I'm not sure Xenogears is going to get negatives so much as it's just going to stop getting anything, from what I understand. Now, I haven't played that part of the game, so I don't know. But that's, from what I understand, it just stops having gameplay. Now, I'll tell you what I remember liking the least about Xenogears. Fuel. We'll get there. How far did I get? The sewers. Yes, I'm aware of how early in the game that is. Hang on, let me put this in. Cheats. No! Okay. This is only a 4-day stream. It sure feels like longer. Have you noticed how some of these shots are clearly a real-life person, by the way? Have you picked up on that? It's totally not Shala. Mushroom and onion pizza. Alright, I need meat. Mushrooms, olives, and onions. And meat. Yes. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to try to get Cheesecake Night, because holy crap. That's what I'm here for, Zeiss. Building factories. So. Yes, that says Pixar. You see that correctly. So there's totally not... Okay, so what do you think is happening here? Obviously, it's Shibuya. Let's just get that out of the way. It's a woman holding a necklace, very similar to Shala's necklace, with a similar hairstyle. looking off into the distance on Shibuya. What does that mean to you? Real question. I will find you, even if I have to search the world over. Sometime, somewhere. I'm sure. So, feel free to give your answers, what you think it means. All of them are wrong. I'm just gonna skip ahead a little bit here. All of them are wrong. See, when we first saw this, me and my friend Eric, we thought, oh, that's supposed to indicate that Shala never stopped looking for Giannis, her brother, and ended up like even going into the future of modern day time, and that's how they showcased that. We were wrong too. Everyone was wrong, because the actual stated intent, and this is in the interview, is it's supposed to be metaphorical rather than literal, to indicate that even in real life, somewhere out there someday is someone looking for you, even if it's across dimensions. Yes, really. Okay, so. Whoops! 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 Hold up, hold up. Hang on, hang on. We're not actually done yet. So obviously New Game Plus exists, it's good. I've actually already given the positive for it. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the alternate endings. Hang on, let me pull this up, let me pull this up. Okay, we got this here. Oh, we got this. Give me a sec, give me a sec, give me a sec. Yep, here we go. Don't worry, we're gonna blaze through this. Okay, so we killed the Time Devourer, yep. We saved the Time Devourer, yep. Okay. So let's go ahead and continue. Now, to make this easy, I'm gonna set up a save state right here at the save screen. And we're gonna grab this save, I think. And we're just going to turn on a cheat in the background here, which is going to just speed all this up tremendously. This doesn't count as cheat flag, by the way. We beat the game. This is just to show off the alternate endings. I don't even want to hear it. What? Why can't I go to the beach? Oh god, the bindings are wrong in this save. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so yeah, let's... Oh my god, there's the Time Devourer. What's the menu? There we go. Okay. Use. Nope, nope. Yes, let's go fight the last boss. Let's fight the last boss, cat. Wasn't enough time as it is. Well, you know. Yep. So I'm not sure which ending this is. We'll find out very quickly. Hello, cat. Okay, so remember, we have to get each of the spells in order to get all of the colors lined up just so So we're going to need to start with, I think it was yellow. Start with yellow. Yep, okay. Then we're going to go with red, and we did it! We beat him! Whew, okay. Yeah, I need a breather. Okay, so let's speed this up a little bit. Okay. This might just be the default ending. I'm not sure. Okay, that's the default ending. Okay, so hang on. So let's try the second save. What? Oh, yeah. Ah. Okay, hang on. Rewind here. That's... Yeah, okay, here we go. Odd. Sorry, that's the first ending. That's the New Game Plus ending. This should be where we actually are, I hope. If this is... We've got YouTube if we have to, but I kind of wanted to show you this myself, since I did bother putting in this prep work. Oh, yeah. Right. Disc 1. Disc 1. Disc 1. Disc 1? Disc 1. Okay. Alright, time to go beat the final boss. By ourselves. That's gonna be a really hard fight, okay? On New Game Plus, just like in Chrono Trigger, there's a portal to the end boss right at the beginning of the game. Pretty much the exact same concept. However, New Game Plus modes, you actually have to kill the thing. Like that. So, yeah, and then it dies. Please insert disc 2. Okay. Sure, Gabe. Because all the endings are on disc 2. Ahem. Welcome to the development room. Welcome. This is where the development team gets to shake their thanks to the players. What was that? Question mark for Pepper. Stop interrupting me. Just shake it and say your line. Oh, that was terribly terrible of me. Be sure to talk to Pepper and me when you wish to leave. That's the way it goes. You won't be able to shake it out of here otherwise. Have a good time. Have a splendidly splendid time. Suichi Sato. I was in charge of the battle effects, and I was so busy I didn't have time to tend to my butt hairs. Just kidding about the butt hairs. But let me tell you about my goatee. It's not like I dye the bristles, but there's some red hair mixed in there. See? Black hair, red hair, black hair, red hair, black hair, red hair. Kanji Oiwa. Oh, Tsuyoshi. The player's finally here. Man, we waited a long time. I thought you might have called it quits. What? There's something you'd like to discuss? Mixed jello with a bomber jack will appear and rub a rubber band on your cup? What on earth are you talking about? Listen, you're not getting any younger, so stop playing games all the time and spend some time with your daughter. Kung Fu is awesome. Yasuhiro Akiyama. Hitoshi Oguchi. I did all the character animations, like the character you're controlling now. And a whole bunch of deadly ones. Sorry if they were over your head. If there's at least one character you liked, I'll see ya. Mika Nunokawa. Why do we have so many characters? That's what I kept asking myself when I was drawing all of them. Oh well. Sentaro Hota. Hey, how's it going? I was in charge of magic and other effects. Man, am I burned out. My memories of the summer of 1999, I was at the beach. In my dreams. Except, it was nice, amusing dream, except for the sea of blood. Lastly, here's some advice to all your friends, young and old. Don't cast any magic with your nose pressed against the TV screen. Norikazu Sato. I made all the various creatures in the world, and there were plenty, let me tell you. Actually, the character you're controlling now and the other characters all start off as one tiny little gray box. I hope to see you in another world. Bye. This was a turbo-crunched game, which is funny because its development was really, really long. Like 4 years, which was pretty freaking long in the PS1 era. Yufuko Hatai. I did some battle effects and worked on Pip's design. I joined the team midway, but I felt good about what I accomplished. Some of my memorable moments were watching the sunrise and fireworks outside our office window. And a late-night trip to the video store in Ebisu to rent flamenco. I need to add variety in my daily routine. Do you think we'll meet again? I hate this game, and I still have no ire for the developers. I don't know. I don't do that. I'm still gonna flip them off. But like in a friendly way. Hikaru Anzai. I worked really hard on the movies. So hard, in fact, I got blisters on my fingers from all the texturing. We all worked really hard on them, so be sure to watch them. Cole Arai. Thanks for playing. I really mean it. Kiyoshi Yoshi? We're finally done. Oh, I can sleep in peace. Hey, you should get some rest too, you know that? Good night. And... reset... No! 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 It's a joke, right? Like, I'm not actually reset. Right? Oh my god! Oh, thank God. I was gonna be mad. Oh, okay. Masataka Hata. I'm responsible for the monster animation. To anyone who wins battles with these, how about some monster watching by using the defend command? Might see a power move you've never seen before. Don't take responsibility if you see the words game over by doing so. Take care. Dark Uchimichi. Don't shy away from the darkness. You must face it. You know, we've said this whole time this game is best with a walkthrough. You know another proviso I'm going to add? This game reminds me of Final Fantasy VIII. Game best played while cheating. Richard Honeywood. So, Richard Honeywood is actually a legendary figure as far as translators. He's pretty much the one who localized this game. We'll talk more about him in Xenogears, because he's actually more relevant over there. But he has had an influence on Square Enix up until modern day. Richard Honeywood. I work at Square in Tokyo where I live with the Chrono Cross team. I was the localization director, the localization programmer, and one of the translators. One interesting feature of this game is its automatic accent generation ability. Without this system, all the text for the 43 main characters wouldn't have fit into the game, making English version impossible. I created an English auto accent system where we could just write the plain translation and leave it up to the program to convert it real time into the voice of whoever's speaking. So I'm also responsible for all the funny speech impediments that I'm sure drove you crazy. But I bet you never realized they were auto-generated, right? Anyway, see you later, Surgikins. Oh, definitely a good influence. Here, let's just pick another number at random. See? It is the exact same text, it's just generated through one of the 43 different speech programs that they have running. Yusuke Kigoshi. Whew, looks like we finally made it. What kept me going was envisioning the expression on your face while you played the game. Did you enjoy it? Thank you very much for playing, but I'm not sure about the name Surge. Hope you're looking forward to our next project. Yoshitsugu Saito. The magnificent story of the planet has ended. A new journey unfolds. At the end of the eternal journey is... Anyway, there's so many sub-events in this game. You won't see all of them first time around. You actually can't. The course of action you take and the choices you make may play new events. Play the heck out of Chrono Cross. No. Hiroki Chiba. Hello, everybody. Just like in the original, I was in charge of events for Chrono Cross. This time around, there were lots of characters. How many did you all get? It was really a difficult task for me to come up with that many events. But since all the characters had their own unique personality and style, it made our work a lot of fun. Who did you like? My favorite is a secret. Masahiro Kabe. Thanks a lot for playing Chrono Cross. Hope to see you again somewhere. Noriko Mitose. This music seems so distant yet so close, from a fond dream long ago. It reminded me of a season, how I was able to meet and accomplish something. I hope to meet again, a message I leave behind. Thank you. Hiroshi Uchiyama. Rule 1 about making games. Keep on dreaming to find the right idea. Rule 2. Work up a burning passion to make your idea into reality. Rule 3. Show love for your work. Rawr. Rule 4. Crunch yourself into unhealthiness. Kiyoshi Tsuchiya. I was in charge of the field map. I hope you enjoyed the world of Chrono Cross. Keep on playing to find all the hidden field maps. Noriko Saito. Well, I think I'll play again. This time I'm taking a different character along. Chrono Cross is so much fun. There's so many characters to choose from. Sugaharu Aoki. Alright, Chrono Cross is complete. Good job, everyone. Good job to me, too. It was really great working with the Chrono Cross team. Teamwork is a beautiful thing. I was also happy about the average age of the team members being so high. Born in 1967, I'm starting to worry about my waist size. Takashi Wakao. Many people come and go, which brings me to the following. As long as time and space is in accord with me, then everything is fine. This is what the other me is saying. That's how I felt about the project. I'm glad I was able to meet the other me. Yoshiyuki Oku. I handled the battle animation sometimes. I worked really hard sometimes. I slept sometimes. I was frustrated sometimes. Well, I guess we're finished, or not. Next time, I hope to improve the animation, or not. In any case, I plan to live a lovely life, for now. I mean, yeah, Crazy Horse. Oh, it loops. Okay. By the way, notice it's Viper Manor. Of course the developer's room is frickin' Viper Manor. Shigeto Matsushima. Hi, I'm one of the localization specialists of Squaresoft. Worked on the US version of Chrono Cross. First off, congrats on clearing the game and finding this room. Hope you've enjoyed the world of Chrono Cross and its strange, unique inhabitants. As our localization director Richard mentioned, this game would not have been possible without his auto-accent system. Having more than 40 main characters was a challenge to us, and it was hard to keep characterization consistent throughout the game. But overall, we managed to give each of them a distinct characteristics without sacrificing consistency in the common lines. Same lines you saw when you played with one party combination will appear differently if you take different members. Try it out. If you've enjoyed the game, send your donations to yours truly at P.O. Box... I'm just kidding. But seriously, please tell your friends about this game. Invite them into the wonder world of Chrono Cross. Thank you. Shake it, baby. And that's all that person says. Tomoko Murakami. I really like him. The man with the goatee, dressed in black on the southern island. What? He's too hairy. He's bald under the hat? Hee. That's what I like about him. Yoichiro Mori. It's important to push when you can't pull. Toru Oshita. Dad, mom, grandma, brother, sister, Oka-chan, Keiji-san, Shin-chan, Gorata, Nori-chan, Mom-chan, Shimamo-chan, and everyone else, and all of you who play Chrono Cross. I did it! Yeah, I did it! Thanks for playing all the way through. Did you enjoy it? Anyone who's confused should play again. Anyone who wants to know about the sequel, wait 2 more years. Just kidding. It'll never happen. Chrono Break does not exist, although they did register the trademark. Hello? Why not? There we go. Hello. I just started working as a planner. That's why I look like this. What? Ah! Hello, people. I am Katsuhisha, and I'm a programmer. Unlike the artists, musicians, and scenario writers, We programmers don't stand out that much, I guess. So today I thought I'd teach you folks what a program is. Hold on while I call some of my friends. Hey, you guys! Yeah, Ross really wanted to hear this song again. Hi, I'm Kazumi. Nice to meet you. Kazumi programmed the sections that display and maneuver polygon models. Why don't you show him, Kazumi? That was moving. Who's next? I guess that's me. You can call me Mia. Maya. Maya wrote the program sections that manipulate effects. His effects look like this. Mighty effective, don't you think? Lastly, but not leastly, we have... Oh no. No, I'm not in trouble. That's my name. He coded the special effects used in battles, as well as the menu systems program. Go for it, Ono. How handy. Oh, and as for me, I was responsible for the overall battle program. Well, I even wrote the data and functions that allow this image of me to talk to you like this. The artificial intelligent logic of the monsters and other enemies was also written by yours truly. Thanks for listening to my long speech here. Oh, I really appreciate that you bought a copy of Chrono Cross too. Well, until we meet again in some other game, take care and sayonara. I did buy this game back in whatever. Early aughts. Pusha Mura Mura. Push, push, push. See, I'm a little more pushy. No, not at all. Boy, it sure was tough dealing with odd and even numbers. Huh? The flickering? Oh, it's supposed to be that way. Is it? I programmed the visual effects. Due to the magnificent work of the designers, the quality was surprisingly excellent. I hope my programs will really add to the game so you may further indulge in the world of Chrono Cross. Hope you feel your time playing this game was well spent. Please enjoy the extra features the second time around. Yeah! It's no use. I'll never win. Mwahahaha. What? Yeah, my copy's an OG. It's not even a green box. There's someone really scary in the sound room. I better make a run for it. I'm so busy. I want to take off somewhere far away on my bike. Women must be strong and live vigorously. Are you strong? I love Pip. I think so cute. Call me funky. I bought a new pair of jeans just because my other ones have a hole. What do you think? Yasunori Mitsuda. How did you like the music? What should I do next time? Anyways, I'm off on another trip. Oh yeah, the soundtrack should be out by then, so be sure to buy it. See ya! Also, interesting pick. So they all have a choice of which avatar they get, and Yasunori Mitsuda picked that. So... what do you think? Great sound, huh? Watch for us on the PS2. Yeah, remember, they were already well into development on FF10 by this point. Actually, at this point historically, when did the Bouncer come out? Because I'm pretty sure they were already pretty far into the development on the Bouncer. Because that was their tech demo for the PS2. Oh, 2000! Never mind. In that case, the Bouncer had already come out by the time this game came out. Hey, good job making it this far. Oh, I see. Yes, yes. Sounds like you had quite an adventure. Brings a tear to my eye. I have a small present for you. Pick one. Green or blue? Nope, you're right. November of 99. Came out here in 2000. And the bouncer was... Yep, December. Next year. Okay. Anyways. Blue. Thanks. I drew the world map. I really worked my heart out, so it'd be great if you could play the game a number of times. Hey, this is my second playthrough. Be grateful. Went all out on the art. Whew, momentum's a powerful thing. How about everyone? Long vacation? Yeah, I guess not. Yes, Crazy Norse. I said it before, the bouncer was a tech demo. It was them figuring out how to code on the PS2. That's it. Burn it, freeze it, fly it. To all you item collectors out there, were you able to get them all? I'll be doing my best. What song, huh? Enter a number. Which song should I play? Please enter a number. 21 again. Huh? What the? You have a problem? It ain't like I'm looking for someone to pickpocket or looking for loose change. Fine, here's a special treat. I'll change the characters' names for you. Whose name do you want to change? Surge. Still want to continue? Nah, I'm good, thanks. Weirdo. I made a lot of monsters, over 100 actually, but because they're monsters, every one of them will be defeated. It's kind of sad, really. They didn't do anything wrong. Don't tell me you... Nah, you wouldn't do such a terrible thing. You didn't, did you? From the depths of the dark ocean bottom, gazing at the bright world so far, what exists there? What will you find? I'm just kidding, that's out of character. It would make me so happy knowing you enjoyed the game so much that you lost track of time. No, really. So sleepy. Hello, I was in charge of creating the field map, ID data, and mask processing. You run into problems like, it's hard to get around on this map, or the character's clipping the chair. That's my fault. It's a feature. ID data, mask processing? Oh, I hope to see you again somewhere. Another exciting... Oh, it's Masato Kato. Another exciting nightmare is about to end. What kind of love and dream awaits you around the next quarter? Have faith in tomorrow. Live it your own way. Good luck! And that... Wow, that sounds canned. And that's the writer. Yeah, all these people are talking about how tired they are. It's so strange. There are many people in various places. You act differently towards many. You're always searching for yourself. What kind of you do you like? What kind of you do you want to be? Hope you find the right you. Good luck to you. This is according to specification. Did I miss someone? Seriously, did I miss someone? Because the door's locked. Or is that it? I'm not as familiar with this New Game Plus ending as I am some of the other ones. By the way, this will be my first time seeing some of these endings, because I was mad at this game when I beat it, so I didn't do these. No kidding, Rax. Which is funny, because Xenogears predates this game by a few years. Alright, let's just see what's up here. Turning so awfully soon? Are you certainly certain? It'll be game over if you leave. So you've decided to shake it on out of here. Please be carefully careful. Next time we meet, the Shaker Brothers will win for sure. You heard the man. Better be ready. Well then. Goodbye. Shake it. And thank you. Hi, Sean. The end. Aw, no fast-forwarded credits? Okay. Okay, so that was the dev room. No. Ah! 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 God dang it. That's gonna happen a couple of times. Oops. Let's go kill Lavos. Again. Okay, so yeah, blah, 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 and dead. So this is, Empress Kid ending. Oh, he's back. Hi, honey. How'd it go? He almost had one. He had a 10-foot lion shark. But it got away just as he was about to hoist it up. Oh, that's too bad. I still can't believe you used to be a housekeeper, Her Surge. You really are something. You said it. I've been fishing all my life. I've yet to come across someone so talented. I got myself a great apprentice. I gave him a perfect 10. Me too, a perfect 10. There's no doubt it. This guy's gonna make it big. Oh yeah, superstar. They'll be all set to marry you, Lena, and settle down to a sweet, loving family. You go, girl. Oh yeah, go. I mean, there's nothing to be embarrassed of. Lena, you're blushing. In case you'd missed it, Kid said, see ya, Surge. Oh, please. What is it, Surge? No, I didn't hear nothing. You're probably just tired. We had it tough out there. That's right. Okay, then. Come on, Surge. I'll make you a nice lunch. You have to eat a lot of protein and build up those muscles. Oh, man, you love birds. Come on, stop teasing me. There's nothing to be embarrassed of. Lena, you're blushing again. So, he gets his normal life, but what does Kid get? Got you now, Lynx. Oh, that's the frozen flame, ain't it? Are you one of the radical dreamers? Shut up! In the name of Luca! Ah, what are you talking about? I got back to Viper Manor. We can't get away from it. Kill two birds with one stone. Oh man, that frame rate. 10, huh? Oh my god, the text isn't rendering. There's so much stuff on the screen, the text isn't rendering. Hang on a sec. Hang on a sec. There's literally too many models. No, I can't see what that says. Something. General. General Kid. Oi! As of today, I hereby declare something. General. General Kid. Oh my gosh. And then I think it crashed. Jeez Louise. Anyways, Kid goes on to conquer the world. The end. Let's just summarize that. Moving on. Wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong one. Okay, hold up. I'm serious. She goes on to conquer the world. That's that ending. Yep, exactly. Dream Whisperer. PS1 literally can't handle it at a certain point. I mean, you've heard my story about how FF9 quite literally destroyed my PS1. Okay, here we go. Where ripples become waves. See you around, Giga. Giga. Yes. So this is a possible piece where angels lead the way. Blah, blah, blah. I wonder if we could split dimensions here. Or we could kill the last boss, like right now. So yeah, then we kill the last boss, then he dies. Okay. Don't tell me to put in this too. Don't do it. Okay. Hi, Serge. Looks like you're getting used to working here. Daddy, don't tell me you're gonna go out and gather mushrooms again. I know that Serge is helping out. I have a lot of free time on my hands. What about doing the inventory? You're the one who said there's always work to be done at the element shops. Don't worry about it. At my age, you have to live a little. Anyway, you two make a great couple. That's one worry off my mind. Daddy, don't jump to conclusions so fast. Well, I'm off to Shadow Fortress. Be careful and come back before dinner. Daddy still can't get enough of those mushrooms. Hope he doesn't become a fun guy. Oh, time to get down to business. Snogging. No. Hey, it's our girlfriend. Excuse me, you have a customer. Oh, Lena, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were here. Humph, what's so good about Termina anyway? Can't believe he decided to work there, even though I found him a job in Arnie. Huh? Did you say something, Lena? I can't hear you. What happened to your loud, annoying voice? Oh my, I think this element may be rotten. Is this the kind of merchandise you sell your customers? Speaking of rotten, there was an awful stink just as you walked in. No, I'm pretty sure the smell's coming from the shop. Coming from your rotten personality. Lena, isn't it time you went home? Alone. All by yourself with no one to walk you home. I'm right here, girls. Ah! Why does it have to turn out like this? That's a good question, actually. Why the bloody hell do I have to do this? Stop complaining, Bloody Rose. A spy must conduct field investigations. Since when did I become a spy? And quit with that codename stuff. You do not like it? How about Red Scorpion? It's not the bloody point. Don't you slack off, newbies. Yes, sir. Alright, fine, I'll do it. You did save my life by getting me the Hydra humor, I suppose. But none of that codename rubbish. Damn, where the hell did Surge and them go? Meanwhile, the heroes must defeat Lynx. Because remember, we went off to live the ordinary life. Kid ended up joining the military. Poor. So, Pierre, Salt, and Pepper are off to defeat Lynx. Shake it, Pierre. Salt. Just you wait, Lynx. We'll teach you a lesson about General Viper's spite. Shake it and say your prayers. Not that it'll do you any good. Monsieur Pierre, let us be on our way. Actually, Moi seemed to have an upset stomach from last night's party. It's not a good idea for Moi to run. Are you seriously serious about being a hero? That's pathetic. In order to get this one, you have to defeat the Time Devourer while Kid is poisoned. Please, do not run. Huh? What just happened? What are we doing out here? You can tell Salt and Pepper were, like, dev favorites. We're so high up. Is this thing floating? The body seemed to have passed through the floor just now. This sure is some fort. And so this is the exact same dialogue as before. What's shaking, Pierre? You alright? Who knows if there'll be a toilet up ahead? Shake it and hold it in. Who knows if there'll be a toilet up ahead? Moi should be fine. Moi am a hero. I'll do my best. We shook out a lot of cash to hire you. You better. Okay. Well, go defeat Lynx then. Salt, Pepper, and Rando. We shall leave this up to you, Pepper. Why me? Ta-ta-ta. Moi says we decide this with a game of rock, paper, scissors. That'd be appropriate, none? Good idea. You're a true hero, all right. Okay, rock, paper, scissors. Shake! It is you, Monsieur Pierre. Oh, moi feel the squirts coming on. Rose. Oh, the pain, the pain. Oh, man. All right, let's shake another game. Oui, indeed. I hate you. I hate everything about you. The three of them were never heard from again. Okay. Okay, I'll give you that one, game. Good, they're dead. Yeah, Lynx just murdered them. Just murdered them. Okay, next. Where were we? Where ripples become waves. So this one, here we go. I need to set up a save here. There we go. Insert disc 2. Okay, so we're Lynx. Oh, this is like right after we became Lynx. So I think I know which ending this is. So, yeah, anyways, we're gonna kill him, and he's dead, and then he dies instantly. I love having the ability to kill someone by looking at them, by the way. That is an extremely useful power, I'm just saying. Okay. Salut, Monsieur Lynx. Did you dream of moi? Ooh la la. We're up to 3 women who are lusting after us, by the way. We have another grand day ahead of us. Oh, it was worse, J. Palmer. But it's over, and that's the important part. Good morning, Mr. Lynx, Harley. Good morning to you too. Keep up the good work with that well. No problem. Salute. I guess 4 if we count Kid. Good morning, Mr. Lynx. Beautiful day, isn't it? I'm gonna work my heart out for new Marble. Bravo, Siente. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Hey, it's Lynxy. Come on, let's play. None. Monsieur Lynx is very busy today. I wasn't asking you, Harley. Nah. Nah. Hi, Lynx. Hi, Harley. Good morning. Listen, I was wondering if you could do some shopping for me. I'll give you a discount. Sure, but maybe later, none. Whew. You sure are popular, Air Lynx. Oh, good morning, Siren of the Sea. About that person you're looking for, leave it to us. So you'll take on my request? Thank you. That is no problem for Monsieur Lynx. I knew I could count on you. Well, goodbye. Salute. So what is the agenda for today? Huh? Good morning, Sage. Oh, good morning, Lynx, Harley. You two seem to fit quite nicely after several months here. The restoration program's coming along fine, thanks to you two, of course. There's nothing Monsieur Lynx cannot do, no? Yeah, I was hoping to say that. Something I'd like to discuss. Oh yeah, what is it? As you probably know, life in Marble is beginning to center around you. Unlike before, everyone's generating a positive attitude. This may be a golden opportunity to bring about a change to our dated way of thinking. I'm sure we have to associate with the human folks on equal terms now. I believe it's time for a new leader, and I'm too old for this. Are you saying... Yes, exactly. Once you become the leader of Marble, the way we demi-humans view the world will change for the better. I believe you'll be able to bring forth a new age in the history of demi-humans. Looks like you've kept an eye on him. Well, Monsieur Lynx, how about it? Of course I will help too. You don't have to answer right away. Stay here as long as you want to consider my offer. Keep in mind, everybody looks up to and needs you. Good day. So Surge, in Lynx's body, takes over Marble, hooks up with Harley for the rest of their life. Monsieur Lynx, you will find the way to get yourself back. But until then, let's do what we can for the demi-humans here. None? Right. You are needed here, no matter how you look on the outside. You are you. And that is what is important. Everybody is looking to you for guidance. You can do it. I know you can. Meanwhile... Don't worry. I'll be by your side. Surge. Yeah, remember, Harley fell in love with Surge, so... Hey, look! It's emo Surge. Well. If it isn't the 3 old farts. I'll hear what you have to say. Listen well. The countless evil deeds you have committed cannot go unpunished. We cannot allow you to do as you please. Prepare yourself. Here you be the bastard that killed all the dreams dead. That's why I'm here, to avenge me son. Arg, I too am a villain, but my reasons are just. You're nothing but a disgrace. I really don't have time to deal with the likes of you. Oi, I ain't gonna let you get in the way of Surge's plan. That's the way it goes, but I do need to get used to my new body. I'll make a special exception today, and I'll take you on as well. Prepare, scoundrel. Anytime you're ready. The end? Uh, uh okay. Meanwhile, next. That's a weird ending. What? It's not dinner time yet. What do you want? What do you want? Sorry, this one should be... after you're rescuing Riddell, but before going to the hideaway. That would actually be really funny to quit. What? 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 So, anyways, then we kill Lavas for the umpteen trillionth time, and he's dead. Okay. And we're moving. I love that power. Alright. Uh-oh. Oh no! It's this screen again. 10 hut. General something, something, something. Can I kill them yet? Everyone, prepare yourselves. Long live the pride and honor. Yes, we all agree. Oh, I'm not actually 100% sure what they're saying. Something is happening. I'm sure the poor army, perhaps this too is fate. Move out. Oh my god, why did you do that with full models? Shall we get started? Okay. Meanwhile, Monsieur Lynx. Marry me. It's a nice change, no? Just taking it easy. Before I would travel all over the place with the other Monsieur Lynx. I've never stayed in one place for so long. I wish it could be like this a bit longer. Well then. Time for dinner, non? What would you like? Your specialty. Oui? Then I would do my best. I have to get some ingredients, so wait here. Mon chéri. Mon chéri, mon schmeary. Look, I've fallen in love with Harley, and you can't stop me, kid. I finally found you. Ooh la la, you're still alive. Of course I am. I have more lives than a cat. What are you doing here anyway, Lynx? This is pathetic. This whole situation's pissing me off. Prepare yourself, Lynx. You ain't getting away this time. You're going down. And then I guess Kid kills us? The end? What? Some of these endings! Oh my god! Okay, meanwhile... Some of these are just wild. Yeah, I suppose that's true. Some of the Chrono Trigger endings were a bit disappointing. I actually agree with that. I'm not sure any of them are, like, negative worthy, but, you know, there's a few that are just, okay. Okay, so this one hypothetically should be the orphanage. There should only be 3 left, hypothetically. I actually really like the slideshow ending from Chrono Trigger. Is something wrong, kid? Yeah, looks like we've got company. I'll hold him off. You go on his head, Surge. Fine. I'm counting on you, kid. They never explain why Kid goes along with Surge in any of this, by the way. That is never elucidated upon. She's either mind-controlled or, like, really stupid or something, but they never actually go into it. Kid. Not you again. I thought you were with Lynx. You're... I see. I'm in a hurry. Would you mind letting me through, please? Ha! I'll take a little more than please to let you through. Over my dead body, I say. Kid, it is senseless for us to fight. We must stop Surge. I mean, Monsieur Lynx. Quit trying to talk your way out of it. I don't like you. It's as simple as that. I don't care if it's senseless for us to fight. Oh, God. Then I guess it cannot be helped. So you're finally ready to face the music, huh? Put up your dukes. Okay. Okay. By the way, to get this one, you have to do this immediately after Harley leaves the party. I hope you don't mind. Oh, are you here to consult the Record of Fate again? You sure are devoted. There's not much else to do at my age. Oh, please, you're still young. Take your time. Let's see now. What does the Record of Fate tell me to do today? Holy cow. This can't be. Help! What's wrong? The Record of Fate. Oh my. It's turned black. But why? How the heck should I know? I'll go call the chief. Hope this isn't a bad omen. Chief! But, like, if Fate's back in control, why would it... I don't understand. Why did it do that, cat? Why did it do that, cat? Is that better? This ending is called The Dark Fate. Finally made it this far. And now, the frozen flame is finally in my hands. Okay. I shall become Fate. Which, okay. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Sorry, it's 4 has, not 5. My bad. Ha 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 ha. There we go. The end? Okay. Right. Okay. Looks like 2 left, which sounds about right. One of these should be the orphanage. The other one should be me hitting the wrong button. The other one is the Dragon God's Revenge. I don't know which one this one is. Blah, 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 blah. Kill Lavos. We're walking. And thank God I can kill Lavos by looking at him. Could you imagine how long this would take if I didn't? And with fast forwards, too. Another great reason to do this on emulator instead of on the Steam version. Please don't be the giant thing of troops again. Oh my god, why? Why do you keep doing this shot? Okay, so something's happening, I'm sure. Couldn't tell you what. So anyways, General Viper converts Viper Manor into an orphanage where he, Dario, and Rodell take care of the children. That's what this is. This is an orphanage. Also, Viper Manor again. Can't get away from it. Oh my god. I can feel my metaphorical PS1 melting. Oh my god. Did it actually crash again? I think it did. Well, anyways, Dark Surge, Kid, and Harley stop by a bar and buy Galaxy Knight. Despite being underage, they rack up a very high bill. As it turns out, the Dragoons were using that as a bartending scam, and it's implied that Zoa beats up Dark Surge when he's unable to pay the bill. The end. Moving on. So this one would then be the Dragon God's Revenge. The last one. Let's make this a good one. Please insert this too. Okay, fine. We get this one by starting but not finishing Terra Tower. I haven't even started, J. Palmer. We're not done with the game yet. See you around, Takoida. This is the last one, though, for real. Then we'll do the audit. Blah, blah, blah. We kill Lavos. Lavos is dead. The end. Last time we'll have to see that for the immediate future. Oh. All right. Come on. What you got? What you got? Good night, Esmeristar. Remember, eels are evil. Finally. Nice, Ice. Dwarf Chieftain, almighty dragon god, the remaining survivors of my clan have gathered on this island. The demi-humans of Marble have gathered as well. Yes, J. Palmer. Excellent, the time is now. Those who defy our plans have been eliminated. Not a soul can interfere now. Let us stain the planet with the blood of humanity. The impudent humans who believed they are the sole rulers. Dragon God, do we have no other alternative? What are you talking about? Have you forgotten their wicked deeds, hi-ho? If we do something about this now, the humans will certainly destroy the planet. But now be off. Eliminate these foolish mortals who are eating away at the planet. It is our turn to dream anew with the planet. Certainly, O Dragon God. Hi-ho, prepare for the worst, you filthy humans. Now where should we begin the bloodbath? Are we doing the right thing? By genociding an entire people, are we doing the right thing? Is that really the question you're asking right now? Just want to be clear about that, that's the question that you're asking right now. Humans, let this be a lesson for the countless sins you've committed over the past 1,000 years. There is no turning back now. So then mankind was genocided. Like you do. How many years has it been since I last visited? Not quite, Mr. Red. But either way, it makes no sense, so just don't even try to make sense of it. That's such a blast watching those humans run for their lives. They were always looking down upon us demi-humans. I'd pay 1,000,000 G's to see their faces filled with fear, humiliation, and disgrace again. We're evil, by the way. Oh, I can't use these filthy utensils after humans touch them. Don't you agree? Gather around, ladies. I brought with me today utensils, direct from Marble. They're clean, and they last forever. Oh, wonderful. How much are they? El Nido's finally at peace now that the humans are gone. What if the troops from the mainland are sent to survey the area? Oh, the dragon god's watching over us. Humans are no match for us now. What if these flowers will do? I wonder if this was supposed to be like the original ending in some respect. Anyway, so humanity's wiped out the end. Happy ending. The freaking end. Well, of course I would, either. It's another dice roll, after all. If you mean back in 2000, no. Well, was a little too poisoned back then. Okay. That's it. We did it. That's Chrono Cross. It's okay. They've got a supercomputer that'll help them kill them all, Crazy Norris. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Now I'm gonna go do the magic thing again. No. Now I'll tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna do the usual. Hopefully this is at least a little interesting to watch, because I haven't even started the audit. So let's see what the task does with this section of the game, shall we? The last save was mine, Mr. Red. My actual playthrough. Hello, cat. Okay. Okay. Well, now that I'm very depressed and kind of wish I could kill myself, let's see what we got here. Wow, that is actually underestimate on the time. And without cheats, too. 35.7 hours. That's funny. That felt a lot longer. $40. I put it down as straight 40 hours. The speedrun is about 6. Depending. There's categories, obviously. Lol, Ross. Here's a question. Do you think it'll end up being net positive? I'm not sure at this point. We'll find out. Hmm. Actually, I will be right back. Sorry. Sorry. Got that. Honestly, my guess before we started was that this would score somewhere around 0. Whether it's above or below 0, I'm not sure. But that was my guess walking in. I know what you're thinking. What? I thought you said it was scoring better than you thought. Yeah. Remember, I do not like this game. That's how I figured it would score. Xenogears? That's a little trickier. I know less about Xenogears, so I can't really give a prediction there. Planescape will probably be net positive. I know, okay. If this game had scored very well, that'd be a perfect example of what coffee means. Because I know I'm not going to like this game. I knew that walking in. But that's not really how well a game reviews, is it? Yeah, exactly, Prisoners. I imagine Planescape will end up getting the storybook tag, honestly. We'll see. I even gave this game music positive, so meh. Three tens and a 9.5. Wow! I mean, this got a 9.7. Good night, Prisoners. On IGN. I mean, we all know how hilariously out of ridiculousness that IGN is, but come on. 9.7. Yeah, that is stupid off the deep end. I don't even know what you're insinuating there, but I resent it. That's like saying I don't like Mass Effect 1, or I guess 2, because I like Mass Effect 1. Oh, that's... whoops. Oh, that's irritating. I'll do it this way. God, I just realized he's fighting Fate. I'm not watching, but I recognize the song. This game is what made me a gamer, and still going at 33. Perfect story, perfect gameplay, still not outdated. Everything an RPG needs. Still recommended 2025. Sure. Actually, yeah. Majora or Ocarina, not both. Shit. Oh, hi, Valerian. Where have you been all week? Sorry, that sounds accusatory. But I've been, like, really wanting to hear your input on a lot of this all week. And you have been absent. I'm doing the audit right now. Mental Health Week. Well, I can't argue with that. If you watch any VOD, watch this one. I would love to know, if you don't mind sharing right now, if I'm remembering correctly, you like this game better than Trigger. Do you have a reason why? Not an accusatory, an interrogative. I mean, okay, so I will absolutely agree that this game spitting on Trigger is something I'm not a fan of. I can't deny that. Like, that's just aggravating. But I'm curious how much it changes the score. I really am. I'm going to do a double thing, because why not, while we're here, right? I'm going to see what this game would score if it was just the first game. Or, actually, if it was just the second game, and the third game did not exist. Whoops, I'm writing this down as negatives. I am so stupid. These are positives. Pay attention, Lord. Pay attention. Let me ask you a specific question, Valerian. What do you like about the gameplay of this game? No, see, I don't want to sound elitist, but only a true artist could ever appreciate Chrono Cross. I can't even do that with a straight face. Oh god, how do I say this without sounding elitist? I've noticed most people don't bother to think critically about things they like or dislike, or come up with a why. That's just observation. Why do you like this? Because I do. Why do you not like this? Because I don't. For most people, that's acceptable. Anybody, and I mean this, in my experience, anybody who sits down and thinks about it can think about it analytically and come up with reasons why they like or dislike something. Just most people don't bother because why bother? I admit I'm strange in that I find the why more interesting. I've always been that way. And that's true. This is sort of my job. I sort of need to be able to say why I like or dislike something, why something works or doesn't work. If I don't, then I am not doing my job correctly. Anyway, sorry, what I'm trying to say, Valerian, is if your answer is because I like it, that's valid. I admit I was hoping for more, but I ain't gonna push. Because there's nothing wrong with that. Now, if you vote based on vibes, we're gonna have trouble. So I don't know anything about Jack 3, Kennex Cow. I know Jack 2, that's the GTA clone one, which is dark and edgy. And I only know it because of that. I don't know anything about it. I know nothing about 3. Nose. Nose! Ah! Yeah. You ever seen a gush run? You don't do those very often, but, See, I actually really unironically like FF8. I've actually said this before. My opinion of FF8 has actually gone up over time, not down. It is a deeply flawed game. But I still enjoy it. And I can explain why. And I hope to do that someday. The last Gush run? Probably Super Metroid, honestly. Yeah, one of... real talk... Yeah, actually, wow. Real talk, more specifically Dragonflight at War Within. I think FF8's biggest flaw, like the actual biggest flaw in FF8, is the fact that so much of its content is optional. Now, hang on. Let me asterisk that. Content being optional is not inherently a bad thing. I can actually think of several games where the content is optional, and that's actually a good thing. But FF8 goes out of its way to not tell you, not only that the content is optional, but that it's there at all. This is actually something we brought up several times recently, because this keeps coming up in games. If you, the player, don't know a puzzle exists, you can't solve it. If you don't know that all that optional content exists in FF8, there's nothing really guiding you to it. With only a couple of exceptions. You have to go way out of your way to find all that stuff. And generally speaking, you're probably going to want to walk through it to be able to catch it all. I'm not saying that would, like, perfectly magically fix the game, but I do think it is the largest flaw in the game. So much of that content is stuff most people never even see. Good news, this did not get as many walkthrough negatives as Breath of Fire 2, which I actually stand by. Okay, that's the boring part of the audit. Apologize that this is taking so long. Oh yeah, getting around at FF8 is a pain. You get the freedom point way too far in. Like, you know another huge flaw in FF8? Balam Garden. When it's an airship. It's so much worse than whatever you're picturing if you haven't played the game. For those of you who have played the game, you're probably nodding right about now. That is a terrible, terrible airship. Or hover ship, I guess. It's slow. It can't go up things unless it has a ramp. And there's a giant bridge bisecting the world, which at least once, even if you're just doing MSQ, you have to bypass. Which means, at a certain point of the story, like here's the world map, right? You have to go up and loop around to get to the southern hemisphere. And yeah, it also handles like ass. Well, subject. Okay. Audit time. Real audit time. 35.7. I'm also going to pretend Xenogears is Chrono Cross for a second, because I'm curious of something. Hello, cat. I know, right, Cycloud? And what's worse is there are quite a few places you can visit with the garden that if you don't, the content that was there goes away because it's time sensitive, or more accurately, trigger sensitive. It's functionally time sensitive. So you are actually encouraged by the game to slog your way around the world map on that stupid garden. Seed chip. Don't even get me started about the seed chip. Also, this is a weird complaint, but the overworld looks really bad in FF8. It looks worse than FF7, or 6, or 5, or 4, or 3, or 2, or 1. I'm sorry, FF8's overworld looks bad, like legitimately is visually unappealing to look at. And yeah, by the time you get to Ragnarok, you're at the end. I do like FF9's overworld quite a bit. 7's is pretty solid too, but then again, a lot of that's on the gameplay axis. 7 has a really well-designed overworld, gameplay-wise, especially given the way it branches out and develops as you get more and more vehicles. How do I feel? I'm getting cheesecake. That's how I feel, Mr. Red. Any questions? I'm glad to be done with it. Don't take that as a negative. What I mean by that is Chrono Cross has been this thing in the back of my mind for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years. I don't know how long this has been. Chrono Cross was one of the first games people asked me to sit down and do a video on, back when I hadn't even started streaming yet. And when I finally did start streaming, not that long after I started my YouTube career, it was one of the first games people requested for a lore run. Both times I resisted it because the thought of playing the game again just... I couldn't stomach it at the time. Being able to finally sit down, do my research, do my homework, record it, see it for what it is, for my own sake, regardless of for the stream. That is what I like to call an accomplishment. I'm rather happy about that. Did I not? Did I not? Oh my god, I didn't. Did I? I had to have, though. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8. Nope, 8, 8, 8. Okay. Oh, I see what happened. Whoops. I'm stupid. Yep. Whoops. Oh, jeez. Okay. Clean that up later. I still firmly think if this was just Cross, it would be a better game. Not just because of the connecting to Trigger, but because they would have had more time to develop Cross, the core game. I have actually reviewed Grandia 1, Cycloud. I've never played Grandia 2, though. Or if I have no memory of it. I might have played Grandia 2. There's 2 or 3. I played Grandia 2 or 3, I forget which. That's it. Net positive to story. Although we'll come back to that in a second. Might have been before the Oblivion line. Sorry. The archives page will still have it. My biggest memory from it is it literally making me nauseous. And It's not hard to find. I have a whole archives page on the website just for stuff like that. And the kid being the best character, and then being kicked out of the team, and the whole game getting worse the moment she left. She was great gameplay-wise, too, because she was a buffer. And that's like, nope, buffs go away, and it's like, oh, okay, that sucks. Was that her name? Was the ending as bad or as I remembered, or worse? Not as bad as I remembered. I'm being very honest with myself. I was primed to hate the ending last time, because it was something I had been put on the back burner for a while, and I was like, okay, you know what, I wasn't fair to it, let's finally finish it. Used a walkthrough, irritating, frustrating, finally got it. Oh. My mood at the time put it worse than it actually was. Started on the last dungeon. How's he killing bosses, by the way? I've been really focusing on the audit, so I haven't really been checking. That's pretty much what I did. He's probably manipulating RNG a bit to get even better setups, because, yeah, he just murdered that boss. Level? Oh, I guess he's the level. There's only one level to have. Here's a random question as I'm winding down to the end of this. For those of you who like the soundtrack of this game, what's your favorite song, if you don't mind sharing? If you have one. You know mine, Viper Manor. Although I also like Chronopolis, so one of those two. The final boss song. Second Overworld. That's a good one. Girl Who Stole the Stars. Yeah, I knew that one. Still not sure where that plays. The vocal ending. Alright, I'm with it. I'm with it. Hopefully I don't actually get copy wrong for that. I'm gonna be mad. Which one was Time's Scar? Yep, back in Viper Manor. I can't get away with it. I can't get away from it. Oh, the intro. Okay, okay. I was about to look for it, but yeah, I remember that song. Let's see, 3 negatives to music. There we go. Alright, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I give positives to music. Don't look at me that way. How much money would it cost for me to replay Chrono Cross? $23 million. There's better ways to spend 23 mil. I can play EverQuest. Be longer. If I ever need to prove how fair I am in my reviews, I gave this game a replayability positive. And I will never touch this game again. Hell, this is my second playthrough. As in only my second playthrough. It's everything. I've heard that from several people, Saber for Life. I'm curious why that's the spot for several people. I mean, granted, you do miss out on a fairly major amount of kit at that point, and it kind of forces you to learn a new character, but... oh, here we go. Yeah, that's about right. Alright, so, hang on. I'm not going to tell you the golden number just yet. Give me a second here. Well, hang on. Do you want to hear the golden number that the game gets, or the game what it would get if trigger didn't exist first? Which one do you want to hear first? I'm going to do both. Because why not? Okay, what it actually gets first. Alright, so... Well, oh, now I'm getting dissipated. Ah! Disagreements! No! What do I do? Okay, hang on. Wait, that's not right. Sorry, doing math in my head. Okay. Pause. Of course, Valerian didn't tell me their favorite song. I see how this goes. Oh, well. In that case. Hey, Blue Wind. How's your day going? I'll give you the real total first, I think. Final story score. Plus 4. That is 0.1 positives per hour, and a total ratio of 52.78%. There's a lot of good, actually, on the narrative axis, and a lot of bad that pulls it down. That is below average for JRPGs, admittedly, which is 17, if you're wondering. Just average story ratio for JRPGs is 70%. That's actually pretty bad. No, plus 4 is not actually pretty shabby, really, when you get down to it. And it is above 0. That puts it above several other games I could mention, including Breath of Fire 1, Quest 64, Parasite Eve, Mystic Quest, Skyborn, Dragon Quest 1, Suikoden 1. Gameplay, so before I tell you this, the average gameplay number for JRPGs is -12, which makes sense. JRPGs are not exactly known for their gameplay. So this game having -24 to gameplay isn't as bad as it really sounds. That's kind of middle of the pack-ish. It goes down from there. That is 2/3 of a negative per hour and a ratio of 35%. The final actual golden number of this game is, if I could get a drum roll, please. Who won? Okay. Negative. Try to be shocked. $30. $7.48. Not that bad, really. I know that sounds pathetic, but that's not that bad. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say that this game scored better than I was expecting, because it did. That means Mr. Red won. Congrats, Mr. Red. I've put that towards Final Fantasy X, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and WoW Patch Night. But hang on. What if we eject Trigger from it? Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The gameplay of this game is still pretty rough. But if we just eject the trigger elements completely, the story positives go from +4 to +26. Yes, really. And the gameplay goes from -24 to -20. It's still not what I'd call super well scoring, but that does shove it up from -37 to +10.86. That's a difference of almost 50 points upwards. That is a big jump. A 10 would put it up here with, like, say, Terranigma. Actually, put it above Terranigma, or Lunar. Yeah, that's reaching towards Breath of Fire 3 up there. I stand by what I've said 1,000 times. I think the original story was much, much better. And I think that the developers should have been allowed to write the story they wanted to write, instead of being forced at the last minute to slam Chrono Trigger into it. Yeah, good game for the time. I'm reminded of something I said during Gothic. Obviously, the review doesn't take this into account, but if you considered the year 2000 and PS1 JRPGs, not too shabby, all things considered. I actually have a lot of paperwork to wrap up, and I have cheesecake to get. Tomorrow, we start a game I'm dreading even more, if you can believe it. Xenogears.